poor leg circulation. Do this exercises can ameliorate hip and circulation when over 50.
If you are over 50, there is a good chance your body has already started to change in quiet and subtle ways, especially around your hips and lower body. These changes do not appear suddenly. They develop slowly over time, which makes them easy to ignore. You may notice that standing up after sitting feels a little stiff. Your legs might feel heavier than they used to, especially at...
It is very common to think of these signs as a normal part of aging. Many people simply accept them and move on.
But in reality, these sensations often reflect changes in how your body is moving and circulating blood, not just your age. Long hours of sitting and limited movement can gradually affect how your joints and muscles feel.
The encouraging part is that these changes are not set in stone. Your body still has the ability to adjust and respond, even later in life.
With simple and gentle movement, you can support better circulation and improve how your body feels day to day.
The first step is awareness. When you begin to notice these early signs, you give yourself the chance to take action.
These changes are not inevitable. Awareness and gentle movement can make a real difference. Start noticing.
Now, here is something important to understand, and it may surprise you. One of the biggest reasons behind that stiffness and heaviness is not age itself, but something much more familiar. Take a moment and think about your daily routine. How many hours do you spend sitting, whether it is during work, watching television, or simply resting? The challenge is that this habit feels normal, so we rarely question it. But your body feels it, even if you do not notice it right away. When you sit for long periods, your hips remain in a fixed position. Over time, this can place gentle pressure on the areas where blood flows through your lower body. Muscles around the hips may begin to feel tighter, and joints may not move as freely as they once did.
The key point here is simple but powerful. While we cannot stop the natural process of aging, we can change how we move throughout the day.
Even gentle movement, done regularly, can help your body feel more open and more comfortable.
This is why becoming aware of how long you sit is such an important step. It gives you control over something that directly affects how your body feels. And the good news is, you do not need extreme effort or complicated routines. What your body responds to best is...
And this brings us to a simple but powerful step that you can take right now.
Before changing anything, it helps to understand where your body currently stands. That is why a quick self-check can be so useful.
You can start by asking yourself a few honest questions about your daily habits and how your body feels.
Do you spend long hours sitting each day? Do your hips feel stiff when you stand up? Do your legs feel heavy or tired by the evening? For each yes answer, simply give yourself 1 point. Then pause for a moment and look at your total. This number is not there to label you or make you feel concerned. Instead, it acts as a gentle signal. A lower score may suggest that your body is still moving well. A higher score may indicate that your body is asking for a bit more attention and care. Either way, this small exercise creates awareness, and awareness is where real change begins. When you take a moment to reflect like this, you are no longer guessing, you are observing, and that shift alone can motivate you to take the next step. This quick self-check is your starting point. Notice without judgment. Observe with kindness. Continuing from that awareness, it becomes important to understand a key idea that often changes how people see their own bodies. Many individuals believe that once stiffness, discomfort, or reduced mobility appears, it is something permanent that will only get worse. However, this is not always the case. The human body is far more adaptable than most people realize, even in later stages of life. It does not simply stop responding or improving because of age alone. Instead, it continues to react to how it is used on a daily basis. Muscles that feel tight can gradually become more flexible again. Joints that feel stiff can begin to move with greater ease.
Even circulation in the lower body can improve when supported by regular, light activity.
The important factor is not intensity, but consistency. Small actions repeated regularly often create more noticeable change.
This idea brings a sense of hope and reassurance. Instead of focusing on what may feel limited or difficult right now, it shifts attention toward what is still possible. When you begin to view your body in this way, it becomes easier to approach movement with patience instead of pressure. There is no need for perfection or extreme effort.
What matters most is giving your body regular opportunities to move, recover, and adjust. Over time,
Building on this mindset of adaptability, the article then shifts the focus to how movement should actually be applied in daily life. A common assumption is that exercise must be intense, challenging, and physically exhausting in order to be effective. In fact, for older adults, high-intensity exercise may not always be the most suitable approach.
This may increase the risk of discomfort or even injury, which can discourage further movement altogether.
Instead, a more effective approach is often found in gentle and low-impact movements. These types of exercises, they do not require extreme effort, but they encourage the body to stay active in a safe and sustainable way. Over time, the most important factor is consistency. Short and regular sessions tend to be far more effective than occasional intense workouts. When movement becomes part of a daily routine, the body has more opportunities to adapt and respond positively.
By focusing on simple and realistic movement, it becomes easier to stay committed. This approach removes pressure and
This mindset can help you feel more confident, more capable, and more in control of your own physical well-being. Continuing from the idea that gentle and consistent movement is more effective than intense exercise, the article introduces the first practical exercise.
This movement is known as the glute walk, a simple seated exercise where the body moves forward and backward using controlled hip engagement.
Although it may look unusual at first, its purpose is very practical and focused on restoring natural mobility in the lower body. This exercise works by gently activating the muscles around the hips and pelvis. When you shift your weight from one side to the other while seated, you create a rhythmic motion.
Another important benefit is the activation of deep stabilizing muscles. These muscles play a key role in supporting posture and
Expressions. This movement is especially useful for people who spend many hours sitting each day. Sitting for long periods can reduce. One of the key advantages is that it does not rely on strength or flexibility. Instead, it focuses on rhythm and awareness. There is no need for speed or force. The goal is simply to create steady, controlled movement that the body can respond to gradually.
Over time, this type of gentle activation can contribute to improved posture and a greater sense of balance.
This reinforces the idea that small, consistent actions can lead to meaningful changes when practiced regularly.
Continuing from the glute walk, the next set of movements focuses more deeply on releasing tension and improving flexibility in the lower body.
After activating circulation and engaging the hip muscles, it becomes important to gently open areas that tend to become tight over.
The sumo stretch is designed to gently open the inner thigh muscles. These muscles often become shortened when the legs stay in a closed or fixed position for long periods. By widening the stance and gently lowering the body in a controlled way, the inner thighs are encouraged to lengthen gradually.
The movement is not about going deep or forcing the stretch, but about allowing the body to open in a natural and comfortable range.
Alongside this, the pendulum exercise introduces a different type of benefit through gentle swinging motion.
Instead of holding a fixed position, the leg is allowed to move freely with controlled momentum. This creates a light.
Both of these exercises share a common principle.
They rely on gentle and controlled movement rather than force or intensity.
This approach is especially important for individuals who may already feel stiffness or limited mobility.
Over time, these simple movements can support better flexibility and a greater sense of ease in daily activities.
Continuing from the previous movements that focus on flexibility and joint release, the next step in this progression brings attention to both strength and deeper muscle relaxation. At this stage, the goal is to create balance in the lower body by supporting stability while also releasing areas of hidden tension. The towel squeeze exercise focuses on strengthening the inner thigh muscles. These muscles play an important role in maintaining pelvic stability.
When these muscles are weak, the body may feel less stable.
by gently activating the inner thighs through controlled squeezing. At the same time, the Figure 4 stretch targets deeper muscles located in the hip area. These muscles often become tight due to long periods of sitting.
When they are restricted, the hips may feel stiff. By gently positioning the body into this stretch, tension in the deeper hip muscles is gradually released.
Together, these two exercises create a balanced approach. One focuses on building strength and support, while the other,
when combined with the earlier movements, they contribute to a more complete routine that supports comfort, stability, and smoother movement in daily life. This approach is especially important for individuals who may already feel stiffness or limited mobility. The goal is gentle inches. Over time, these simple movements can support better flexibility, strength, and a greater sense of ease in daily activities. Continuing from the combination of strengthening and flexibility exercises, it becomes important to understand how to apply these movements in a structured and sustainable way over time. Rather than treating them as one-time actions, the article emphasizes a gradual progression that allows the body to adapt safely and naturally. In the first stage, which typically covers the initial week, the main focus is on learning the movements correctly and becoming comfortable with the routine.
The priority is to stay relaxed, move with control, and allow the body to become familiar with each exercise.
As the routine continues into the second week, the body often begins to feel more comfortable. At this stage, it is possible.
The key is to pay attention to how the body responds, rather than forcing progress.
By the third week, many individuals may notice that movements feel smoother and less restrictive. This is a sign that the body is beginning to adapt. However, the progression should still remain gentle and controlled. The goal is not to rush improvement, but to maintain steady and consistent practice. Throughout the entire process, patience plays a central role. When movement is introduced gradually and consistently,
this reduces the risk of setbacks and supports long-term improvement in mobility, comfort, and overall physical function.
As we reach the final part of this routine, it is important to bring everything together and understand the core principles that support long-term success. The first and most important principle is to avoid pain during movement. Discomfort that signals strain or sharp sensation should never. The second principle is to prioritize consistency over intensity. Steady and regular movement is far more effective.
The third principle is proper breathing. When breathing is controlled and steady, muscles relax more easily and circulation improves more efficiently.
When these three principles are applied together, they create a complete foundation for safe and sustainable practice. Looking back at the entire journey, from the initial awareness of stiffness and circulation changes to the simple self-assessment, and the body is capable of adapting when it is treated with patience, care, and regular, gentle movement.
The real value of this approach is not in quick results, but in long-term improvement that feels natural and sustainable.
By applying these principles in daily life, individuals can support better mobility, improved comfort, and
your body is still listening. Move gently. Stay consistent. Be patient.